talk and knock and talk to make them get it. Yes. So the etheric content in the atmosphere will determine how sensitive your ability to communicate is. To create etheric content, there are many things one can do. So this is why Krishna said, in Kali Yuga, which is down here, which is so far away from the super sun, the ether will be so low, no point trying to teach them yoga, trying to teach them meditation, trying to teach them mantras, yantras, this, that, they won't get it. Just teach them devotion. If they're devout, then they will generate their own ether. There will be an etheric content in the atmosphere. Because of this, they will perceive. This is said thousands of years ago. They say functions like electricity, magnetism, realizing that the whole body is an electric structure and the whole universe is an electric structure, will come naturally as the solar system moves closer. So right now we are moving into Treta Yuga, which is the second best time that can happen in this cycle. And Krishna also said, after over 5,000 years, there will come a 10,000-year period of fabulous time. We won't make it there, but we can set the foundations for it. That we can have the joy of creating an atmosphere where there will be a 10,000-year stretch of golden time upon the planet. This is not all predictions and conjecture. This has a very deep-rooted understanding with what happens with the human mind in relation to the planet on which we live. We don't just live on this planet, we are the planet. If you don't understand this today, you will understand this when you're buried. Planet understands that you are just a part of the planet. You think something else of yourself. So, a story begins because you have false ideas about yourself. Mahabharata is a grand misconception of human beings and their sufferings, their rise, their falls. It goes on, simply because human beings are struggling to come in tune with it. Somebody is in tune with it, whatever he tries to say, everybody misunderstands, both who are on this side and that side. Because this is not something, life is not something that can be said. If you open your eyes, you can see the light. Simply, just like that, if this life opens up, if it can feel life, it can become life. It cannot be told. Telling is only to inspire. Telling is only to de-mesmerize you from your own self-mesmerism. Every human being has hypnotized himself or herself into their own limitations and they believe this is it, this is it. If you undo that hypnotism, they will feel fearful because it is a limitless existence. So you will have to, if they're spinning this way, you have to spin them this way for some time, for them to feel they're going somewhere. The problem is, you're walking in this direction. If I tell you you're walking the wrong way, oh, is that so? And you turn around and you start walking this way. If you're arrogant, you say, I don't care, and you keep going and fall in the pit. But you are a gentle one, if you say somebody says you're going the wrong way, you will turn around and walk this way. No, not this way, you're going the wrong way. Oh, is this way? No, you're just going the wrong way. That's difficult. So the whole Mahabharata is just this effort No matter what they're doing, everybody thinks they're doing it for the good. My good, your good, somebody else is good, everybody else is good, whatever kind of good, everybody thinks they're doing it for the good. But everybody is neither good, nor bad, nor right, nor wrong, it just goes on the story. So I want you to understand what it means to be living a story. Why are we taking these 8 days to tell you this story? We could just give you a printed book, there are already many versions, and I'm sure many of you come prepared reading 3 different versions. I'm sure. There are scholarly ones, I can see. No, we don't want you to read the story. We want you to live the story. So, the story is not about somebody. Mahabharata comes under the classification of being itihas. In India, we recognize the great texts in 3 categories: Itihas, Puran, Ved. Vedas are abstractions. Vedas are full of abstract ideas, scientific theories, explanations for celestial happenings. Puranas are stories, but not of human beings, of other kinds of beings. Puranas are the stories of other type of beings, not of humankind. Itihasa is the story of the human being. When I say it is the story of the human being, itihasa should not be understood as his story. There is a historic element to it. The facts are rooted in history, but this is my story. If it is his story, what meaning to your life? Only if it's your story, it is a process of growing up for you. What happens in a story like Mahabharata? The range of things that happen in a story like Mahabharata, the range of people, just to tell you the magnitude. The first version of Mahabharata that was written down by Ganapati himself had 100,000 verses. When Vyasa wanted to tell the story and somebody had to write it down, he found no better chronicler than Ganapati himself. But Ganapati is bored of this scholarship business. He said, see, once I start writing, you should not even give a moment's gap. If I write this word, the next word should be already on. If you hesitate, I will leave and go, the project is off. You must keep telling the story in such a way that I should never have a break. Are you ready? So Vyasa said, fine, because this story is not something that I'm going to make up, this story is living in me. It will just find expression. Only thing is, you should not write a single word that you do not understand. They made a deal. They made a very clever deal. And he narrated the story, these 100,000 verses which depict over a few thousand characters. These characters are not guest appearances. Each one of them, from their birth to death, all aspects of their life, their childhood, their marriage, their asceticism, their sadhana, their conquests, their miseries, their joys and their death, and for most of them, their previous lives and their next lives, in enormous detail. Putting Odyssey and Iliad together, this is about 7 times longer than that. Did anybody last through Odyssey and Iliad? Did anybody manage to read through this, the Latin version? Most people won't last, they will just somewhere. By the time they read the introduction, they feel scholarly enough to give it up. So this is 7 times longer than that. So definitely we will not be trying to cover the story as story is, but the story as it's relevant to you and me today. Because I want you to live through the story. I don't want you to sit in 21st century and make a judgment on people who lived here 5,000 years ago. It's the most unfair thing to do. I'm sure if they come alive now and look at you, they will have horrible judgments to make about you the very way you are. Yes or no? So it's not for you to sit here and make judgments. This is not about good, this is not about bad. This is not about the right thing and the wrong thing. This is about exploring the human creature like he's never been explored in any other place. Just simply an exploration. So Vyasa, who was the author or who first told the story, took this challenge up because he wanted to see that the story lives. Since then, thousands of people have written their own Mahabharats with mild adaptations. There are adaptations to different states in the country, to different regions, different castes and creeds have adopted it in their own way. Different tribes, the tribal and the folk people have adapted in their own way. And every storyteller, when he stands up to tell the story, looking at the crowd that is sitting in front of him, he's made his own adaptations. But the story is not contaminated with adaptations, it is only enriched with adaptations, because the beauty of all these people in these 5,000 years has been, nobody ever contaminated the story by trying to judge it. So you should not do it. You do not contaminate the story with your judgment. Oh, who is the good guy, who's the bad guy in this? That's not how it is. These are just people. This dharma and adharma is not about right and wrong. This dharma and adharma is not about good and bad. It is not some kind of code of conduct for a king or a priest or the citizenry. It is a law that if you grasp it, it will allow you to move towards truth or untruth. This is what dharma and adharma is. So the story is a very powerful spiritual process. If you live the story, if you judge the story, it is a tremendous possibility for confusion in your life, because after this you will not know what's good, what's bad, what to do in your life, what not to do in your life, whether to live in the family or go to the jungle, whether to fight a war or not to fight a war. If you just live the story, you will understand dharma means that which allows you to make this living process a stairway to the divine. Otherwise, you make this living process a spiral to hell. People are using it that way. People are using the process of living as a spiral to hell. Dharma is about learning to use the life process as a stairway to the divine. The time and the impact of time upon the system is very, very important. Right now, we are in an ascending time. Above all, we are in a cusp or the sandhya. The significance of sandhya. In our day-to-day life, from day to night and night to day, from forenoon to noon and midnight, all these different sandhyas, we have been looking at this, and those of you who made use of it know that it is significant. But now we are talking about the sandhyas between two yugas, two major formations of time, which actually have a great impact on the way human body, human mind, human energy, this whole electrical system, how it rappels with the electrical system of the creation. The universe in which we exist is towards a higher possibility. If you crackle with it, you will be one way. If you resist it, you will be another way. As the voltage increases, if you are the right kind of instrument, you will glow bright, otherwise you will poop out. At the same time, no matter which time, it does not matter which yuga, it does not matter which planetary position we are in right now, still individual human beings can rise above this. Still individual beings can live in a golden time within themselves. That possibility has never been ruled out. In the worst of times, still an individual human being can be well above that. Everybody knows what happened on the last part of Mahabharata. I want you to leave it. I want you to live through it, because the beauty of the story and the beauty of your life, if you want to explore the beauty of your life, you have to explore the beauty of the story like this. A story is a tremendous opportunity that without going through all that, you can go through all that. Without a scratch on your body, you can fight a battle. What more? Human experience is largely shaped within himself, in his thought and his emotion. The more he becomes available to an etheric sphere, the more he is in an energy space, his ability to shape his experience becomes better and better, because the outside atmosphere is sensitive to it. Just now, Adi Yogi is sitting here in full flow, no better place, and he will not interfere. Even in Mahabharata, he was just there. People went to him, whoever asked for whatever, he gave them. You asked for a boon, you got it. Tomorrow your enemy went and asked for a boon, he got it. Now you will think, is this my God? But that's how he is, so better be careful. Because he doesn't see you as a friend, nor does he see somebody else as an enemy. Because he's closed his two eyes and he's got only one eye, so he can't distinguish who is who. Whoever comes with the right sense of receptivity, he gets it. You know, it is a part of the tradition that anywhere, if you want to create the right kind of atmosphere, the first thing that you do is light a lamp. Yes? Of course, because of all these problems that we are having, our nails are long and it's polished. We can't do this, so we put an electric light. But those of you who light a lamp, how many of you light a lamp every day? Whoa, good. If you light a lamp and simply be there, don't believe in any damn god, just light a lamp and sit there. Does it make a difference? It need not be dark. It need not be visual aid, but do you notice it makes some kind of a difference? Because the moment you light a lamp, once the flame is on, around the flame, not the flame itself, around the flame, a certain etheric sphere will naturally happen. So where there is an etheric sphere, there communication will be better. So you want to talk to God, you want to create the ambience first. Create a certain amount of etheric sphere and then talk to Him. Without it, you talk to Him bouncing back from the wall. How many of you have sat around a campfire in your life? You will see stories told around a campfire always have the maximum impact on people. The storytellers of the yore have always understood this, that stories told around the campfire are always the most effective stories. Receptivity will be at its best. We will create a situation that you are at the best of receptivity, both for the story and for the atmosphere that we will create around here. For this, we will go through a certain meditation. Hopefully, if time permits, we want to do this every evening so that it builds up that etheric content around you. If you're meditating enough, it will get taken care of. Fire is of different kinds. Life is fire. It's the fire of the sun which is life here. That fire can manifest in the system as Jataragni. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? If you are hungry, that is Jataragni, the fire of the belly and the fire of the groin. If Jataragni is on and if this is fulfilled, only then the groin fire will burn. One who is not eaten is not bothered about sexuality. Only one who is eating well is concerned about these things. So these are the two same things. This is called as Jataragni. If you transform this, Agni means fire. If you transform this, it can become Chittagni. You became intellectually sharp, suddenly you have lost interest in sexuality, food, and everybody is interested in what's cooking, who is going there, who is going here. You are not interested because your intellectual fire is on. Have you noticed this? At least in somebody. So this is known as Chittagni. Once Chittagni is on, you will have to remind them when to eat. You have to remind them, you're married, man, your wife is waiting, you better go home. Should I? Just one more thing. Because Chittagni is on. This Chittagni can be transformed into Bhutagni. Bhutagni means elemental fire is on. A yogi is on elemental fire. You have heard of yogis going underground and being buried for some time, breathless, heartbeatless, yogis consuming this, that, consuming mercury, consuming venom, all these things, just to show off that they're yogis. Because if you are not, you will be dead. Unless your Bhutagni is on, you can't play with the elements. There is something else called Sarvagni. We will not go to that right now. These three dimensions, Jataragni, everybody has to some extent. Chittagni, if it becomes intellectually on. Intellect is like fire. If it's on, it's really like fire, it lights up your space. Do you see, even in the comic books and other things, Somebody got an idea like a light bulb, because when the intellectual fire is on, suddenly there is light. You can even make it heat because the fire is on. Now, if you have the elemental fire on, it is cool, but it's as hot as the sun. This is cool fire. This is of a different nature. Once you know the elemental fire or the bhutagni, you have mastery over the life process. You will choose how to be born, how to live, how to die or not die. Here in Mahabharata, you will face these three kinds of people. People who are just burned